Hi, everyone. I'm Alpi, the OHSU University Librarian and one of your faculty in the Department of Medical Informatics and Clinical Epidemiology. I'm excited to offer you today this video on how to go to the library virtually and efficiently from off campus on your own device. The video is a bit long, but I hope that you'll come to see by the end of it that we are your learning, care, and discovery partner anytime and anywhere. And that particularly extends now to making sure that you all have access to what you need in the virtual environment. So this video is going to focus on your 24/7 access to online resources and some of the things that we in the library can help you with through consultations in terms of literature and data discovery, evaluation, and organization. But please know that even though it's not covered in this video, the library also offers professional development workshops and guidance through programs like the Biodata Club, again, done in collaboration with DMICE faculty. So the contact information for us for today is here on this slide, and this slide will again appear at the end of the video. There will also be access to the slide deck for those of you whom a long video is just not something you want to engage. Please contact us or make an appointment if you have any questions or if you'd like to recommend something for purchase. So let's start with efficient access to articles and how you can cite them in your coursework or your research publications. To work efficiently from off campus on your own device, it is best to start with the library's website. This starting with the library website link will enable you to be authenticated through OHSU to all of the resources that we license. So on the library homepage, there is both the opportunity to search our collections and to request assistance, kind of the links to all of those specific addresses we provided on the previous slide. And the address is just www.ohsu.edu/library or Google or search OHSU Library. So when you search at the library's website, on the homepage, there will be this list of our most popular resources. By the end of the video, you'll see that this is just the beginning of the many resources you have available. But you want to start there because those links have built into them something that will prompt you for your OHSU credentials to authenticate. Once you log in with your OHSU user ID and password, you will be prompted to authenticate with Duo. So let's focus on PubMed first. Although PubMed is free and you can go to it without following all of these OHSU steps, if you want to be able to access the full text of articles once you've found them in PubMed, you'll need to have either started at the OHSU PubMed link, or you would be logged into an NCBI account through PubMed that is connected to OHSU. And on the forthcoming slides, we'll look at how to do that. Before we go into the benefits of an NCBI account, which I've listed here on the right-hand side in terms of being able to create alerts, to save search strategies, to save collections of citations, and to get that full text article that OHSU subscribes to that isn't free, I did want to point out two other things on the PubMed homepage that you may or may not be familiar with. First of all, for us in informatics is this eUtilities function. When we go to download references, you'll see that there are a lot of limitations on the number and fields available to us. But if we want to download larger quantities and different information, the eUtilities API is very useful for that. And then here in the search example I've shown you, the search is entirely generated with text words, interprofessional observation, and students in clinical placements. But if you're doing more advanced searching and wanting to use medical subject headings, the bolded area there for Explore the Mesh database is another tool that will be useful for you. So if you already have an NCBI account, you would just click on Login in the top right corner. If you don't have an account, you'll be able to set one up. But let's go through what this looks like once you are engaged in PubMed. So I've just run that search on the homepage, and I want to save this search. And I also want to get updates on it so that I don't have to pay attention to when new papers come out. I'll just get an email. So once I've run the search, the option to create alert shows up under the search box. And when I click on that, I'll get the option to save the search And down at the bottom, it says, would you like email updates of new search results? If you say yes, you'll get a whole list of other options for how frequently you want the results, what format you want the results in, etc. I actually set mine to get email updates every day, not because I think that there's going to be a new paper on this topic every day, but because I want to be notified as soon as that paper is available. Another useful feature in PubMed that does require an NCBI account is the ability to save to collections. And I think this is particularly important for folks who get interrupted when they're reviewing their citations. PubMed does not leave your search results available forever. And so if you know you're likely to get interrupted, you're sharing a computer, one of the things you can do is take your search results and save them to a collection so that you can review them later, especially if you've already gone through a large result set and identified several that are relevant and you don't want to lose track of them. So once you've checked off what you need, if you click on Send To, one of the options will be Collections. Again, if you don't have an account yet, it'll prompt you to create an account at that time. If you want to just capture the citations to cite them in your work or put them into a citation management software program, you can either use the Send To Citation Manager, which takes up to 200 citations in the PubMed NBIB format, or if you need more than 200 or a different format, go ahead and go over to the Save button, and you'll be able to choose the PubMed format, which produces a .txt file in a tagged format that you can import into any program. Or another option, as we mentioned, is to use the eUtilities API. But let's say right now you're just interested in reading a few papers and maybe citing one or two of those. When you're looking at your search results, on the left-hand side of each citation, you'll see a little link that says Cite. So when you click on Cite, you'll get the citation for that single article in one of the formats, and I've shown this here on the right, the AMA, APA, Modern Language Association, or the NLM format. And usually the AMA format in Vancouver are very similar. Likewise, the NLM format in Vancouver are very similar, but the NLM format is going to put the PubMed ID and the PubMed Central URL both at the end of your citation, which you wouldn't need for citing in the Vancouver style normally. If you want to actually read the article, then go ahead and click on the title of the article. This is going to take you to the screen with the abstract where you can see the full text links. And so here's an example of that. Because we started at the PubMed URL for the OHSU Library, you can see on the right-hand side under the publisher's graphic link, there is the Find It at OHSU Library link. And this will give you the most direct full text access. And it won't require you to be on the OHSU network or on an OHSU computer. You can just do this on your personal computer. When you click on Find It at OHSU Library, it will ask you to authenticate. So if you've started, though, not at the OHSU Library PubMed link and you've done your search and you found interesting materials, but you want to get full text, there is one way to go ahead and do that without starting over, and that is to log into your NCBI account and have your NCBI account set up with Pubmed Preferences that identify that you're with Oregon Health and Sciences University. So once you've got your account created and you go to the account settings, at the very bottom of that page, there's a place that says NCBI Site Preferences. I know this is a lot of steps, so I've put a lot of detail on all of these slides. Once you're on the NCBI Site Preferences page, there's a section for PubMed Preferences, and then a section there for Outside Tool, which I've shown here, and you choose Oregon Health and Sciences University. This is also helpful for those of you who have multiple institutional affiliations, so you could also choose the Outside Tool for your other institution and be able to go back and forth between having access to multiple institutions. You can do something similar to access full text from Google Scholar, and since a lot of our work in informatics also includes computer science and other areas that are perhaps not as well covered by PubMed, I want to be sure to show you this option. So if you've done a search in Google Scholar, And you could also use an OHSU library specific address for Google Scholar, but we're going to assume that you haven't. Go ahead and click on the hamburger on the left of Google Scholar there to access your settings and log into Google. When you're on the Google Scholar screen, then you see there's settings on the left-hand side menu. And there's two that we want to call your attention to. One is on the search results tab. There's an option to change the bibliography manager option. So for those of you who use a reference manager, or by the end of this video, you might be convinced to use a reference manager, you can actually tell Google Scholar to show you that link so that you can import your Google citations easily into those reference managers. And that's what's shown on the top right of this slide, that you can choose to import your citations into BibText or EndNote, which can be used by any of the reference management programs. But to get the access to the full text, you want to go to the setting for library links, which is shown on the bottom right. And then you can search on Oregon Health and Science University and select that and save your settings. And on the next slide here, you can see that now when you search Google Scholar, that Find It at OHSU Library shows up on the right-hand side menu, and you can get the most direct full text access there. And then when you click on that, you're going to come to the full text of the article where you can click on the PDF to get it through the OHSU Library subscription. If the library doesn't own the article you're looking for in digital format, instead of going directly to the article, you're going to go to this screen, and you'll see an option to request it via the Get It For Me service. And that is our online full text delivery of things not owned by the library. It's no cost to you. It will cover online journals, print materials that need to be scanned. Get It For Me also does do physical loaning of books, and for those of you who are distance students, we will mail books to you with a postage paid return mailer. Get It For Me also is what drives some of our purchasing. So if you need a certain journal and you're requesting it through Get It For Me, we learn what your needs are, and then we consider that journal for future purchase. So I've already alluded to the fact that you might want to be using a reference manager for your work. And here's just a little bit more information about that. We have 3 slides on this. So if you've been downloading existing PDFs and you have a folder or kind of a desktop full of them, but you want to actually get them into a nice list of references so you're able to cite them, all of the reference managers shown here can actually just ingest your PDFs, and assuming they're relatively recent or decent quality scans, they will be able to recognize the citation, and therefore you kind of already get the list of references for them. Once you have one of these programs set up, if you're citing your work in an article that uses one style versus another, and you need to switch quickly, the programs can actually make that transition for you easily, and we'll show that on the next slide. So the 3 that people usually ask us about are EndNote, Mendeley, and Zotero, and you can see here a comparison chart. The OHSU Library provides EndNote, but we also will help you with free ones like Mendeley and Zotero. So here's an example of what this looks like. So you can go from the Vancouver style at the top to the APA style at the bottom, very simply using the citation manager. And on the right, I just have a quick note of, for those of you who have always wondered why is there something called the Vancouver style. That was where the International Committee of Medical Journal Editors met when they came up with this idea that we needed to be standardized in our citation. If you're citing things other than paper, such as conference proceedings, software, patents, those formats can be covered well for you if you need to know more in citing medicine, which is a free resource online. But all the citation manager programs will also have ways for you to enter references for things manually, and will let you choose what type of thing you're entering. It is helpful when you're entering, if you don't already have a folder full of full text that PDFs that you're ingesting into your citation manager, and you are bringing in just references, say from PubMed or Google Scholar, the programs can also help you find the full text for those more easily, so you don't have to import and tie each one together. You just need to set up your reference manager with these addresses so that the program can authenticate and find what OHSU has to offer. And here's an example of what it looks like on the EndNote guide and what addresses you should use, and the setup is very similar in other products. So now that we've been through a lot of detail about getting access to full text and citing articles, let's wrap up this video with 3 types of knowledge resources that aren't really discoverable in PubMed or Google Scholar, but might be helpful to your work here in DMICE. So these are learning materials intended to get you kind of from your first year to your final project, whatever that might be. So we'll start with textbooks and course reserves, and also the idea of searching our library's catalog for books in case your instructor has not put it on course reserve or let us know that it's a textbook. We'll talk about resources for clinical information, and then we'll talk about digital collections where work by existing and past DMICE students is available to you for consultation. So here we'll start with searching the library's catalog. We've searched for Dr. Hirsch in informatics, and the default here on the left-hand side is typically relevance, but I've put it to date newest. And on the left-hand side, you see you can also refine the results. So if you really don't want print books and you only want ebooks or only materials from a certain time, you can do that. I've focused this search just on materials at OHSU, but we have partnerships with many other libraries, including the University of Washington, University of Oregon, and Oregon State University with large collections. So that little pull down there by OHSU can give you access to books from many other institutions, again, free from Get It For Me. So the first book here, Dr. Hirsch has a chapter in it, and the book is on reserve, physical course reserve in the library. But if you look down to the third book, we have Dr. Hirsch's new ebook on information retrieval, the 4th edition. So if you click on available online there, you will get prompted for the library's remote access login. You use your credentials, authenticate with Duo as we've already discussed, and then you're going to come to this particular publisher's page for the book. I have to tell you, ebook options are the most confusing thing. I can't possibly show you all of them. They vary by publisher from unlimited download by unlimited users, like this book, to ones where you can view only by a single user at a time. And so I would really encourage you to look at the limits and options on each book as you encounter it so that you can decide what you need from it and figure out what your best approach will be. This particular book lets you download the entire book in PDF or an EPUB, which can be used by your reader devices, or you can go for the PDF of a particular chapter that you need. Those most limited books, some of them, the only way to save content from them is to print or save selected pages or chapters to PDF. And some of them may limit the number of pages in a session or the number of pages total that we can use from a book. And that's why I say, please do explore the options on the interface for the particular book that you're looking at. In addition to the library catalog with the ebooks, as I've just mentioned, we also have a great number of online databases and resources well beyond that selection of popular resources on the homepage we showed you early in the video. These are helpful when you're looking for information, but you're not having a particular citation in mind. And these will cover both bibliographic citations and abstracts, such as PubMed that we already looked at, or Scopus, which is a multidisciplinary citation and abstract database, but also databases with facts or clinical summaries, such as drug information in Lexicomp or Micromedics, and clinical summaries in DynaMed+ and UpToDate. And because we get a lot of questions about DynaMed+ and UpToDate, I will show you a quick comparison of what those look like in terms of answering clinical questions or giving you background on a clinical problem for those of you who are may not be as familiar with clinical resources. So here, I think we're all under stress these days, so I'm sharing you the entries for tension type headaches or stress headaches. You can see on the left, DynaMed has the management overview here and links to levels of evidence for various treatments. And on the right, you have UpToDate, similar topic outline, referencing journal articles, and if you click on the numbers, you'll be taken down to the end of the list to see the actual references. So the last category of resources I wanted to share with you is actually how you learn from your fellows DMICE student research projects, especially if you're looking for role models for your own capstone or thesis work. So you can visit the library's digital collections at this address. And then there's actually a separate category highlighting biomedical informatics. If you click on biomedical informatics here, then you will see the theses and capstones and dissertations that have been deposited. And you can search by keywords in this group, or you can simply sort by relevance or date uploaded to see the most recent items attached to this. And things have changed over time in their structure. So if you're looking at how to set up a capstone or set up a thesis, you definitely want to look at more recent ones rather than older ones because things have changed. So here we have sorted by date uploaded, and then here is the first entrance in that. It's a dissertation, and we click on download the file, and we get the PDF of this particular piece of DMICE scholarship. So I hope you've enjoyed this whirlwind tour of how to get the most convenient full text access and cite things in your work. I want to leave you with this connect to us slide, contact us, connect to us. All of it's good. And then for those of you who may visit us in Portland, I want to offer this final slide. If you do visit Portland, we really look forward to meeting you in person in the BIC building. The library is on the 2nd and 3rd and 4th floors. DMICE is on the 4th and 5th floors. We have a 24/7 space in the BIC for all members. We have networked computers, special workstations. You can check out emerging technologies, meet in technology-equipped spaces, and even do mundane things like printing and scanning. So thank you very much for your patience and attention to this video. I hope that you've learned something that will help you succeed in your work in DMICE, and I look forward to meeting you in the future. Thank you.